My name is Lizzie, and this is Lizzie's Literary Life, and today we are beginning a reading vlog all about Ashley from Of Fiction and Fantasy. So, Ashley is a bestie of mine. She is on BookTube, but she hasn't posted in a while. Her BookTube is Ashley's Reads, but her Instagram is Of Fiction and Fantasy, and she's very active on there. And this is the next in the series I'm doing of my BookTube besties picking my reads. And if you're new to this series, we read 3 books in each vlog. I've already done Ruby from Ruby Read, Bailey from Is Bailey Reading, and Martine from Just Martine. And what we do in these videos is each of my friends put together a list of their favorite books from 2023. And so what we do is I choose one book from their list that's my selection. I choose a randomized pick from their list. And then for the third book, they come up with a personal recommendation for me for a book they think that I would love. So we are here today to pick out the books off Ashley's list and see what Ashley personally recommended to me. Now, looking at her list, I'm looking down because my laptop's in my lap. There's one that's standing out to me right away that I really want to read. There's one on this list I've already read, and that's Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarrow, so I did read that. There's kind of, when we get to my random pick, I'll tell you about some of the books on these lists that I'm nervous about. But the one that I'm going to pick for sure for my choice is Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is a book that I've been meaning to read, that people love, that I think I'm going to love. I think it's going to be really good, and I'm really excited about. So that is what we're picking, Jade City by Fonda Lee. And then I'm pretty sure that for Ashley's personal recommendation for me, she did pick a book actually off of this list. So we're going to watch that video next and then do my random selection last, just to make sure we don't randomly select the book that she picked for me. So I'm going to move myself over. I'm going to grab my headphones because I didn't do that. And we're going to watch this video that Ashley made for me.
Hello, friends of Lizzie. I am here today to pick a book for her from one of my top books of 2023. So, Lizzie, as you know, I'm very nervous, but I'm picking Nightbirds by Kate J. Armstrong. So, heads up in advance, this is a debut, but I thought it was really, really well written for a debut, and I flew through this on an audiobook. So, this is a young adult historical fantasy, and it is set in jazz era France. It's a triple POV, and there is romance for all 3 of the main characters to some degree, but as a subplot, which is my personal favorite. And one of them is sapphic, so bonus points for that. Yes. And I really enjoyed this. The synopsis says that it is fiercely feminist, and it is very much about girls learning their power and coming into using it for their own benefit and not for anyone else's. So I really liked it, and I will just share that I also already got an arc of the sequel. Wait, hold on. I swear I had it for this video. Oh yes, okay. And here's the arc of the sequel. It's called Firebirds, and the thickness is a little off, but I'm really excited to try book 2, and hopefully I can get a start on it before you so I can tell you if it's good. But best of luck, and if you don't like it, that's totally okay. I still love you. Bye.
That was so sweet. I love Ashley. We don't have very similar reading tastes, which you'll see when we go through her other favorites, but this was one on her list that I hadn't heard of. And her description sounds great. I'm not hugely into YA fantasy, but I'm totally down to try, and if it's historical, that's bonus points. If it's sapphic, that's bonus points. So I'm down. And now for the random selection. So she had 10 books on her list. Fourth Wing I've already read. Jade City I'm picking for myself, and Nightbirds she picked for me. So that leaves 7 books to pick between. I'm just going to tell you about them a little bit. See why I'm a little nervous. The first one is Painted Devils by Margaret Owen, which is the sequel to Little Thieves. And I actually DNF'd Little Thieves. So it was maybe a soft DNF. I didn't hate it, but if I get this one, I will be rereading and finishing Little Thieves and then reading Painted Devils. We have Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey, which is the sequel to It Happened One Summer, which I did read and finish, but I didn't love it. Then we have Beach Read by Emily Henry, which I have read 3 Emily Henrys, 2 of which I hated, and then Happy Place I liked. We have The Atlas 6 by Olive E. Blake, which I am going to reserve judgment. I haven't read it. I haven't read anything by Olive E. Blake, but I don't know if it's totally my thing, but Martine really liked it, so maybe I could love it. We have Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong, which is a spin-off of These Violent Delights, which I hated. And then we have 2 books I haven't heard of, The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramas and Castles in Their Bones by Laura Sebastian. So, we are going to random number generate between 1 and 7 and see which one of these risky books we are going to be reading. 1 to 7, we'll do a test, and then our official number is 6, which I think that's The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramas, which is one of the ones I hadn't heard of. So I feel like this is good. So I'm going to look up what it's about so that I can have an idea. Ooh, it's a romantasy, which makes me nervous, but it's not bad. But it's an adult romantasy, which is better than a YA romantasy. Okay, that's kind of all the summary says, is that it's a romantasy, and I'm a little nervous, but I'm more than happy to give it a try. So our 3 books for this vlog are Jade City by Fonda Lee, which I am very excited about, Nightbirds by Kate J. Armstrong, and The Curse of Saints, 2 Kates. The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramas, so 2 of our books are by people named Kate, and neither of those I had heard of before Ashley's list. So yeah, I will let you know what I've started once I've started it. I'm excited. Hello, I'm here for updates. I was on a train the other day. Well, 2 trains, one going to my destination and one coming from my destination, so that's the B-roll you saw. While I was on the train, I was listening to a lot of Nightbirds by Kate J. Armstrong. Is that her name? Nightbirds. I was listening to a lot of Nightbirds. I'm now at about the 50% mark. So, Nightbirds is about it's a YA historical fantasy. It's set in like 20s-ish, it feels like. It's like Prohibition, except instead of alcohol, it's magic is prohibited. Magic is illegal, but we have these girls who like each have an ability that they can't use, but they can pass it on to someone else temporarily through a kiss. It's very dramatic, but it's fun. And they're called the Nightbirds. And then we also have like all sorts of illegal trading of magical potions and things in like the speakeasies. It's a fun setting. It's a fun vibe. And our plot is that like basically there's like a group that's trying to get the Nightbirds because they're illegal. Like that's an oversimplification, but that's basically it. And we've got these 3 Nightbirds who are our main characters: Mathilde, Asa, and Sayre. And they're all interesting characters. I'm not loving it. I think I'm just not... Partly, I'm having a hard time connecting to my audiobooks lately, but also I just am not really connecting to it. Maybe it's the YA, maybe it's something else about it, but it is good. It's well written. It's a fun setting. It's a fun vibe. And then the eyeball read I've been reading is The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramas, and I am this far through. This one's I'm liking more. This one is an adult fantasy following Aya. We have these different like different types of magic that different people can have called their affinities, and there's this like history with the gods and a saint that like saves the world. It's a little more like hard to follow because of the age demographic, but I feel like this could benefit from a glossary. Like, it could really benefit from a glossary because there are a lot of terms and stuff, and we have like in the front page, we have one page that says what each of it has a little bit, but there's so many things that are not in on this front page that I would appreciate definitions of. But I'm engaged in the story and I like the characters so far. We'll see where it goes. Yeah, it's kind of a similar plot actually, that like there's this evil group that's, it's not that they're trying to stop magic like in Nightbirds, it's that they're trying to control magic and like have more power than is healthy for the world. But yeah, that's this book. That's Nightbirds. I will let you know once I have a further update on one of those. So I did finish Nightbirds by Kate J. Armstrong, and I don't have a ton more to say about it. I thought it was kind of just okay. Like, not it was just okay for me personally and my personal taste. I don't want to diss it as a book because I think like as for what it is, it's really well done. And I think if I had read it maybe a few years ago, I would have really enjoyed it. But it was a little simplistic for me, and I just didn't really connect to it on as the audiobook. And I didn't really like feel it. And so I'm giving it 3 stars. Not a bad book. It was just kind of okay for me. I did think the ending was intriguing, and I will probably pick up the sequel, Firebirds, when it comes out. But I'm not like highly anticipating it, you know? And then The Curse of Saints, I'm this far through, but I am trying to finish that tonight actually, because tomorrow I want to binge read Jade City, which is the third book for this vlog. So I will update you hopefully later tonight saying that I've finished this. I was finding this very like easy to read, easy to pick up. Like I know that I said like I wish I had a glossary, but like, and that is still true, but I am finding it very readable in terms of like just turning the pages and getting through it. It is a little bit over dramatic in places. Like there's a lot of like short sentences right in a row that it just like kind of feels like too much in the way that like Fourth Wing sort of did. It's like very exciting, but not, I don't know if the writing is really what I want it to be. Yeah, I'll update you when I have an update. So it turns out I'm the biggest dum dum because there is a glossary in the back of this, and I just didn't find it until the end. So, you know, it is what it is. And honestly, it wasn't that confusing. The only thing that really like got me was that there were actually 3 groups of people with names, fantasy names that started with the letter D, and like one of them I knew what it was, but the other 2 I couldn't really tell apart. Like I couldn't tell you what the difference between the Diaphorate and the Decachire is. Like I don't know. I just see like D something and my brain just skips over it. So I can't, like, you know how fantasy names are sometimes. They don't have like a meaning that you're used to. So it just is hard to like, if they are too similar, it's hard. This, I finished it. Um, I'm giving it 3.5 stars. I did like the ending. I was like getting into it at the end. And I will continue with the series, I think. My issues with it, firstly, I didn't like the love triangle. I kind of felt like neither pair had much chemistry, and there was supposed to be this like enemies to lovers plot line, but I didn't really believe it either direction, like I didn't believe the enemies part and I didn't believe the lovers part, and it all just escalated very quickly. um Also, I felt like the characterization, like the dialogue of the characters, felt really inconsistent at times. And the writing, it's a debut novel, and I felt that. Like, I felt like the writing wasn't as good as it maybe could have been. Um, and and the setting too just felt inconsistent. There was a lot that felt like kind of inconsistent about it. Like, we've got some parts of it are this like fantasy, like medievally, like old timey situation, and then there are some parts that feel really modern, and it just didn't. It took me out of the story a little bit in those moments. But the plot, at the end, the plot was good. Another note that I wrote was like, I feel like there's so many plot lines and so many threads, and yet nothing feels like it's happening. And it did feel like things were happening near the end. Um, but I just don't know if it was paced quite right. Mostly my critique comes down to like, it's a debut, and I don't think the writing was as good as I maybe wanted it to be. But it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed the end, and I will continue. Hopefully soon. I actually don't know if the next book is out or not. When was this released? This is a 2023 release, so maybe the next book is like in arc form now. I don't know. But I finished this 3.5 stars. So far, Ashley has gotten a 3 and a 3.5. But I have very high hopes for the next one, which is Jade City. It's over there. I'm not going to grab it right now. But my plan is to read the entirety of it tomorrow. For the Herkyed challenge that Q from Q Wordy is doing, one of the prompts is to read a 500 plus page book in a day, and I'm gonna try to do that tomorrow with Jade City. I have like a lot of airport and airplane time tomorrow, so hopefully I will get some really good reading done, and I also have the audiobook in case I need that as well. So I'm looking forward to that. I will update you, and I will check in tomorrow. So, the last couple clips you saw were of me reading Jade City on a plane. So, I read this all in one day, on a travel day on my way to Minneapolis, and I really, really enjoyed it. I thought this was really good. It's about this family who are like high up in basically in this city, which is kind of modeled after China, a city, it's Chinese inspired. There's jade, which imbues magic in these people when they have it on their person, but not everyone can access the properties of jade. Some people have different jade sensitivities based on like culture and heritage and family lineage and stuff. So family is really big, and there are these two rival gangs, basically, that clans type situation, that control jade and jade usage, and we're following one of them, and the family members that are involved in this, several family members, and we see what happens. And people love this series, and I I'm in that boat with them. I gave this 4.5 stars. It's not 5 stars because it did take me a while to get invested in the characters and the story. I felt like there was a lot of setup, which is necessary for a first book in a series like this. It just wasn't. It didn't have me gripped the whole way through, but by the halfway point, honestly, by the halfway point, I was super gripped, and it was so easy to read it all in one day, actually. Like, I didn't really have to push myself, even though it is chunky. I just thought it was really, really good, and I really enjoyed it. So, what does Ashley get for her video? So I gave Nightbirds 3 stars, I gave The Curse of Saints 3.5 stars, and I gave Jade City 4.5 stars. So let's see what that average is. 3 plus 3.5 is 6.5, plus 4.5 is 11. 11 divided by 3 is going to be 3 2/3. So a 3.66 rating. I am going to actually put on the screen how everyone's doing because I don't remember. So I'll go back and see what the ranking of my friends is based on their choices for me. But honestly, like, I was nervous. I told you in the beginning of this video I was nervous about Ashley's picks because I don't feel like we have very similar book taste. But I loved this one. The Curse of Saints and Nightbirds were good, and I will continue those series. So, solid picks from Ashley. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. If you like this video, comment down below if you are interested in any of these books, or do you have friends that have similar book taste to you, or do you have friends that you love dearly that you don't like the books they like? And give this a like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one coming very soon. Bye.